week 11 of the NFL season. My 3 favorite picks are on the way, including 2 1.5 unit plays. What's going on? My name's Austin from Calling Our Shot. Let's dive into a recap from Thursday night. Oh, it was a frustrating one as we went 1-1. We had Tanner Hudson's over in receiving yards. He got that done, I think, in the second quarter pretty easily. And then we lost our other one, which was a Mark Andrews and Tyler Boyd same game parlay. Mark Andrews obviously did get injured. Supposed to be out for the year. Get well soon to him. Honestly, if he got it done, Tyler Boyd, at his rate, he ended 2 yards short of what we needed. Obviously, Joe Burrow getting injured hurt that one. So going 1-1 on a game that had like every single person enter the medical tent, whatever, nothing we can do there. Let's have a dominant Sunday. These are my 3 favorite picks. I have another video with 3 more picks posted Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern time, noon time. Plenty of time before kickoff. I'll have 3 more props in that one for 6 total. Definitely go check it out. 3 other plays I really like, but these are going to be my 2 biggest plays plus another player prop I really like. And we also are going to talk about Underdog Fantasy later on in this video. They have a great offer for you guys. Not only if you sign up using our code COS, you also get a 100% deposit match up to $100 or use the link in the description. You also get a free square for Russell Wilson on Sunday Night Football to just get 1 yard. Love him or hate him. Like I said, he's still going to get 1 yard. It's a free square. Make sure you use that. It's only available for new users that sign up using our code COS or the top link in the description. You also get a 100% deposit match up to $100. Here's all the states where Underdog Fantasy is legal in. You just want to make sure you pick them, and you got it. Take advantage of Underdog Fantasy. We use them a ton, especially in the NFL, but also in the NBA too. But let's dive into the picks. We're going to start with my first one, a 1.5 unit play, and this is going to be an interesting one for you guys to input. Let's talk with this guy. He's going to be on the thumbnail. Derrick Henry. I like his rushing yards over. Here's how I'm playing it, because it's a Derrick Henry ladder, if you will. Ladder is a buzzword for a lot of people around here, but let's talk about him. Well, for Derrick Henry, I'm putting 1 unit on his over 56.5 rushing yards at -106 on Caesars. Now I'm also putting a 0.3 of a unit on 75 plus rushing yards, which is plus 250 on Bet365, and I'm also putting just 0.2 of a unit on 100 plus rushing yards at plus 825 on Bet365. So let's say, I don't know, give or take, you're a $100 normal bettor. That's what you put on every single thing. That's probably a lot bigger than some people out there watching this video. I would recommend $100 on Derrick Henry's regular over, $30 on his 75 plus, and then obviously only $20 on his 100 plus rushing yards. Sprinkle it how you want. I really like Derrick Henry on Sunday, and let's talk about why. Because so far this season, Derrick Henry, well, he's been very up and down, just like the Tennessee Titans offense. It goes the way Derrick Henry goes. And so far this season, I'm putting them in numerical order. He's at 20, 24, 43, 63, 75, 80, 97, 101, and 122 rushing yards. So he has gone over this 56.5 yard line in 6 of 9 games. He has 75 plus in 5 of 9 and 100 plus in 2 of 9. So look, if we can get 100 yards out of Derrick Henry rushing, I will consider this a massive victory. And honestly, even if he just hit 57 on the dot, I'd still consider it a victory. We'd still walk away profitable. But I really do like Derrick Henry on Sunday against the Jacksonville Jaguars. We see when Derrick Henry has bad games, they normally give him the rock the next game. You saw last week versus Tampa Bay, a very stout rushing defense. He only had 11 carries for 24 rushing yards. A terrible game. In fact, that was the second lowest output. The last time he went under that line was back in week 3 against Cleveland Browns. He only had 11 for 20 yards. The next week, they said, all right, we got to give Henry the rock. 22 carries, 122 yards. Now, the Titans don't have a ton to play for, but in the divisional game against the Jaguars, I expect them to at least wake up for this one and try their hardest. And this seems to be a game where they think they need to get back to running the football. And while Jacksonville technically has great numbers against the run, we just saw last week, Christian McCaffrey, 16 for 95 yards against them. And while sure, his O-line is better than Tennessee's, I still do think that they're going to commit to Derrick Henry on Sunday, running the football, trying to keep this game close, keeping the ball out of Will Levis's hands. And while they still do want to see what Will Levis has in him, because obviously they're still, searching for that franchise QB, don't think you want to put him in harm's way against Jacksonville. Henry, he owns Jacksonville. The Jaguars and their fans, they know how much he owns them. He has several highlight clips just against them. His whole career could just have a highlight clip against the Jaguars and be like, dang, this guy's a beast. Look at these last 8 games versus Jacksonville. I put them all in chronological order. 238, 44, 159, 84, 215, 130, 121, and 109 rushing yards in his last 8. He has just feasted against the divisional opponent. I don't think that stops. The fact that we're getting plus 825 on Derrick Henry to get 100 plus rushing yards, yeah, I mean, you could certainly place worse bets out there. We know how talented Derrick Henry is. He has that breakaway speed. They could turn, a 4 or 5 yard carry into 75 yards, and that could basically cash this by himself. But I just think this is a decent matchup for him, for the Titans to get back to running the football on the road with a rookie QB. I love Derrick Henry on Sunday. So in total, we're risking 1.5 units, kind of sprinkled it out in terms of, over in several different yardage. But in reality, if he hits his regular over at 56.5, very good chance he gets to the over 75 plus yards too. So if we can cash the 75 plus and maybe we have that little dart throw in the 100 plus, I love it. But 75 plus would be a beautiful winner for us. So Derrick Henry, we're your number one fans on Sunday. Go have a massive day. Now, my second play is also going to be a 1.5 unit play. It's another running back, and this one we're just keeping it simple. It's Jerome Ford of the Cleveland Browns over 13.5 rushing attempts, minus 104 on Caesars. Personally, I would play this for only 1 unit if the line is 14.5. And honestly, I think the line should be higher than that, but I still do like Jerome Ford on Sundays. He's got, in my opinion, a decent matchup against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And we've seen kind of Ford obviously entered in this season as a backup due to Nick Chubb being out there. Then Chubb got injured, and we've seen kind of Ford step up, dealt with an injury, and then the last 2 weeks he's been healthy. Ford, the last 2 weeks, pretty much 100% healthy. I say 100% because no real player is 100% healthy this far into the year, but he's played 64 and 64% of snaps. So playing nearly 2/3 of the snaps. He's their number one guy. And in these 2 games, 20 and 17 carries. You look at Kareem Hunt, the backup, 29 and 36% of snaps. He's seen 14 and 10 carries. Pierre Strong had a little bit of a role a couple weeks ago, but no longer. That's kind of just a two-headed work attack. And look, Ford's been the much more explosive, the much more productive back. And last week that showed 107 yards for Jerome Ford. I think they continue to give the rock to him, especially with Deshaun Watson now out for the season. Dorian Thompson-Robinson is coming in, and the Browns, despite all this, Dorian Thompson-Robinson only have a 1 start under his belt, and he threw 3 interceptions. They lost 28-3. All this, they're still favored against the Steelers, a team that has a 6-3 record. The Steelers, that I don't know if they've outgained any opponent in this in their season so far. And the Steelers, I just don't think can blow them out. So I think we see the Browns being able to run the football not only in the first, the second, third, but also the fourth quarter, which is important. And the Steelers as a team, look, they just can't move the ball consistently. They faced the 8th most rushing attempts by running backs in the NFL. The last 4 weeks, they've seen the 4th most. And the Browns are a team that no one runs the football more than them in the NFL. In fact, they average 34.9 rushing attempts per game, the most in the NFL. So they're going to lean on the run just as much as they did with Deshaun Watson. Now that without him, now with a rookie at QB, yeah, I would pretty assume that they're going to run the ball. And the Steelers have faced 6 top 50%, top 50%, top 16 teams in rushing attempts this season. Those teams they had their running backs run 27, 28, 32, 19 was the Ravens, and then 30 and 27 rushing attempts for their running backs. So you're seeing 27 plus running back attempts, rush attempts, in 5 of those 6 games against teams that actually want to run the football. I'm not going to track teams that don't have an interest in running it, like maybe the Bengals don't really run the ball a ton. But look, all the teams that have had success and just want to run the football have had success doing so against the Steelers. It might not be out, and that might not be pretty. It might be pretty ugly, this game against the Browns and Steelers. The over-under is 32.5. That shows you how ugly it's supposed to be. But I really like Jerome Ford. Already hit this over once versus the Steelers. That was a 16 rush attempts in week 2. That was the game Nick Chubb went down in. I just like him a lot. I think he's really talented. And honestly, I don't care if he averages 1 yard a carry. We just need 14 rush attempts. We're putting 1.5 units on this one. Another one of my favorite plays this weekend. I really love Jerome Ford. Doesn't have to be efficient, although it would be nice if he was, because then he probably gets more touches. But over 13.5 rush attempts, we need those carries. Go feed him the rock. And my third pick and final pick of this video before we talk about Underdog Fantasy. Obviously, like I said, 3 more picks in Saturday's NFL video. Check that out. It'll be live at noon p.m. Eastern time. We're talking about Breece Hall. I like his over 26.5 receiving yards, minus 115 on DraftKings. Now, as I was posting this play to the bunch of people out there, it did drop a tad, like 23, 24.5. That's the line you got. Take it. I took 26.5. That's what I personally bet, and that's what I'm going to track. But it did drop a little bit, so get that other line if you can. And I would honestly play this up to 28.5, 29.5. I think Breece Hall is in for a massive day on Sunday against the Buffalo Bills. And look, this is going to be a line available in almost every single book, and I really do like him, as this is the matchup that I like to target running backs against the Buffalo Bills, because this season, Buffalo allowed the 4th most receptions at 59 and 2nd most receiving yards at 490 to running backs. Yeah, they've been getting torched by running backs. They play a lot of cover 2. That leaves a lot of those open running backs underneath. And we know how talented Breece Hall is with the ball in his hands. And the Jets try to make an effort to get the ball into his hands. We've seen last week, Samaje Perine and Javonte Williams of the Broncos, 30-plus receiving yards each. A week before that, Joe Mixon, 31 receiving yards. Week before that, Rachaad White, we took his over that game, 70. Ramondre Stevenson, 51. The list goes on and on and on. Running backs against the Bills have a lot of receiving yards. It's just the nature of it. And we've seen over the last 4 weeks, Breece Hall being involved a ton. He's the running back one. He's played 60% of the snaps 4 straight weeks. He's ending with 54, 76, 10, and 47 receiving yards, crushing the line in 3 of 4. And this is a guy that's ran 24, 21, 24, and 26 routes. So running a ton of routes on Zach Wilson's dropbacks, and he's going to be out there. And this is the Bills' defensive line that is probably going to step up after, everything that's been going on in the media in terms of the Bills. Obviously, people expect a lot better, not just from their defense, but mostly it's from their offense. And this is a guy that in Breece Hall, it's out there a ton. Now, Dalvin Cook might see a little bit more work rushing the ball, but I still don't think he's a big receiving threat. And their number one receiving threat for running backs was Michael Carter, and he got shipped out of there. They cut him randomly. Surprising cut for the New York Jets. So, look, that guy's now in Arizona with the Cardinals. We saw in week 1 when we saw Rodgers go down with an injury. Breece Hall didn't play a ton of snaps in that game because that was his first game back due to injury. 1 reception for 20 yards in that week 1 game. His teammate Dalvin Cook had 3 for 26. Michael Carter had 2 for 12. So, look, this is a matchup I think Breece Hall sees 3, 4, maybe 5 receptions, maybe even more. We know how talented he is. He can take 1 reception, 28 yards, and cash this over by itself. But I think he does a couple receptions. This is just too good of a matchup for Breece Hall. Also, Garrett Wilson is injured. Will he be 100%? Will he even play? I don't know. If he doesn't play, this line probably goes up because they have to lean on him in a little bit more. But I really like Breece Hall on Sunday. I think he has a massive day in the air. Not necessarily sure on the ground, but in the air for sure. Give me his over 26.5 receiving yards. And finally, let's wrap it up with my Underdog Fantasy entry. We're taking Breece Hall receiving yards, Jerome Ford rush attempts, and Derrick Henry rushing yards. Boom. Trying to turn, I think, $25 into $150. I really like that one. So if you want to tail me, you certainly can on Underdog. If you want to throw in that Russell Wilson free square into that, entry, certainly do that. Of course, if you want to make sure you get that Russell Wilson free square, it's only for new users. You sign up using our code COS or the link in the description. You also get a 100% deposit match up to $100. It's free money. Take advantage of it. Those are my 3 favorite picks for Sunday. Like I said, I will have another video live on Saturday at 12 p.m. noon. Not hard to miss. 12 p.m. noon. You have well over 24 hours before Sunday slate starts. 3 more picks that I absolutely love on Sunday when it is live. I will link the video on the screen. Appreciate you guys all your love and support. I'm Austin. I'm signing out. I will see you guys once again in the next one. Also, we should have a long shot parlay video coming back on Saturday evening. So I'll link that on the screen when that also is posted. It's Austin. I'm signing out. See you guys in the next one. Peace.